Buckwheat is the most common summer cover crop in southern New England. It grows fast, works well to smother weeds, attracts beneficial insects, and makes phosphorus available for the following crop. However, buckwheat has some drawbacks. Buckwheat has a small, shallow root system that does not add much organic matter to the soil and does not tolerate flooding or mowing, all of which can be problematic for cover crops. The University of Rhode Island vegetable production team looked at alternatives to buckwheat for summer planting in between cash crops. One which looks promising is Echinocloa esculenta, otherwise known as Japanese millet. Japanese millet is a warm-season annual grass, grown primarily as forage and wildlife habitat in the United States. It is an exceptional wildlife plant feeding many types of birds and is especially suited to wet sites. Japanese millet is able to produce abundant biomass under warm conditions. As an alternative to buckwheat, it has some distinct advantages. It is adaptable to wet soil, has an extensive root system, is extremely good at scavenging nitrogen, produces more organic matter than buckwheat, and holds longer in the field. Japanese millet is particularly effective for reducing yellow nutsedge populations in fields. It can be mowed after reaching about 18 inches, increasing biomass production. Japanese millet is very responsive to nitrogen and soil moisture, as indicated by the variability we found between plots. Although it produces less biomass than sorghum or soghum-sudangrass hybrids, it is much easier to incorporate into the soil. In areas where summer temperatures are in the 80s rather than the 90s, Japanese millet outperforms sorghum, producing high amounts of organic matter in a shorter time period. To determine the window of opportunity for successfully establishing Japanese millet in Rhode Island, the URI vegetable production team looked at the effects of seeding date and seeding rate on Japanese millet. When used for wildlife meadows where the goal is seed production, Japanese millet is seeded at a rate of 20 to 25 pounds per acre. But for cover crop use, the goal is to maximize vegetative biomass and weed suppression, so a different seeding rate may be required. We seeded Japanese millet at 11, 22, 33, and 44 pounds per acre on June 19, 2015. Crop biomass production and weed suppression both increased with seeding rate, but stands were highly variable. 6 weeks after planting both the 33 pounds per acre rate and the 44 pounds per acre rate, 1.4 tons of biomass per acre were produced. 8 weeks after planting, the 44 pounds per acre rate produced 3.3 tons of biomass per acre. This was significantly more biomass than the 33 pounds per acre rate. But after 10 weeks of planting, the 33 pounds per acre rate produced 3.9 tons per acre, while biomass production decreased in the field seeded at 44 pounds per acre. These findings suggest that a seeding rate of 44 pounds per acre would give the best results, but a lower rate of 33 pounds per acre would be acceptable. Japanese millet is a domesticated form of barnyard grass and is native to the wetlands of tropical Asia. It grows best in hot weather, but is more productive than sorghum or corn at temperatures lower than 90 degrees Fahrenheit. To identify the optimal window for growing Japanese millet in Rhode Island, we seeded every 2 weeks from May 20th to August 15th in 2015, and from June 12th to July 22nd in 2016, at a target rate of 11 pounds per acre. In 2015, the July 16th seeding produced the most biomass, and significantly more biomass than any other date. In 2016, the July 8th seeding produced the most biomass at 6 weeks, and the June 24th seeding produced the most at 8 weeks. All dates in 2016, excluding the June 12th planting, produced more biomass than the best dates from 2015. These results suggest that midsummer is the best time to seed Japanese millet, but variability was so high in our plots that we cannot draw firm conclusions. Greater biomass production in 2016 may have been due to warmer night temperatures or to higher soil fertility. To best establish a planting of Japanese millet, soil temperatures should be above 70 degrees Fahrenheit. The seed is small and should be planted no more than 1 inch deep. We seeded with a brilliant cultipacker, but Japanese millet can also be drilled or broadcast and incorporated. Japanese millet responds well to nitrogen and is very efficient at absorbing soil nitrogen. We recommend applying at least 40 pounds per acre of nitrogen at the time of planting. In conclusion, the URI vegetable production team found that Japanese millet has the potential to be a valuable, high biomass summer cover crop. It can produce almost as much biomass as buckwheat within 6 weeks of seeding, even at a seeding rate of only 11 pounds per acre, and will continue to increase biomass up to 8 or 10 weeks. Weed suppression is excellent at a seeding rate of 33 pounds per acre or higher. Japanese millet will tolerate some mowing and is quite drought tolerant as well as very tolerant of flooding. Japanese millet is very sensitive to soil fertility, with a tendency to form uneven stands. It will flower and set seed in the long days of June and July. As days get shorter in August, Japanese millet flowers more quickly after seeding and biomass production is reduced.